Good day, everybody. I'm Jim Williams, and my brother Tim. We were fortunate enough to know Paul in the early years. Um, we uh, we became friends. We both had moved in from out of state. He from Michigan, us from Pennsylvania, and we were fast friends. We had a lot of fun together, and you know, he used to come over to our house and we would go to his. And Tim, there were so many opportunities and so much fun we had, just going back and forth. Um, we didn't even have to go anywhere. We could just be at Paul's, he could be at our place, and we just enjoyed, working and having fun with it.
It's the Lutz when we grew up was extremely rural, and where Paul lived was behind a large orange grove. And the nights we'd spend nights at Paul's house, we'd
Mhm.
get up to mischief by going down to the highway and putting oranges out to spell stop in the middle of a highway, just to have trucks slam on their brakes, and then go giggling back up to Paul's house to hide away from everybody. But Paul, there's so many things that we did together, but growing up in Lutz again, we were so rural that from the age of 12, I'm sure we started talking about when we were going to turn 16 and be able to drive cars by ourselves without a parent, because at the time, 15 years old, you could drive a car. So, Paul's birthday, we all were taking the rides in Paul's car with Paul. My birthday, we were all taking rides in my car with Paul. And I just remember all the good times we were able to share, just going to see. I actually went and saw Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon tour with Paul McKittrick, and that was that was a big day. But back to you, Jim. You can
Well,
tell.
okay, I don't know if you remember this, but we used to go. Paul had a sailboat. Now, when I say sailboat, I'm talking about a 10 foot, 10 foot
Hobie.
long. Yeah, it was pretty much you know, a a rowboat with a sail on it. And there would be times we would take it out, and there would be times we wouldn't be able to get back because we'd capsize it and have to drag it back to shore. And the whole time, uh, Paul's mother was so funny. She would look out, and if she saw that the boat had been capsized, she would try to get Paul's father's boat to start, and we would go, you know, from a distance, screaming, "No, no, don't do it! Don't worry, we can make it back." Because we were afraid that if she came out there, she might come out too fast and drown us all. But it was fun to be in the sailboat portion. We also had some vicious ping pong championships.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was good
Yeah,
times.
yeah, it was fun from that standpoint as well. Um, as Tim said, Lutz was a pretty rural place at that time, and but we had fun, and we did it because there was a chemistry between Tim, Paul, some of our other friends, Chris Waterman, and Don Brown, and Barry Newberger, all we get together. And as Tim said, the mischief we got into wasn't, malicious mischief. It was
No
just
bad
fun.
kids.
Yeah, exactly. It was creative. I mean, we had some really fun, creative times together. Tim talking about the Dark Side of the Moon. I remember we when Santana came out with his first album, we were listening to that at Waterman's house. So it was a it was a group, and as Tim said before, rural, so we couldn't necessarily walk from each other's house to each other's house, but we took either my mom would drop us off at Paul's, or Paul's mom would drop us off at our at his place, and it was always fun. There was one other thing, Tim, and I don't know if you remember this, but um, Paul and his mother, his grandmother, went to Italy, and they Paul was excited. We were excited for him to visit where his grandmother grew up, and so had taken all these pictures, and so when he got back, we were very excited to see his picture, and there was a picture that was kind of like slanted, and we're like, what did you mean that to happen? He said, well, no, I took a picture out, I was inside the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Now, Paul, he might have been the only person to go to Italy and take a picture outside the Leaning Tower of Pisa, but not the actual Leaning Tower itself. So he bought a postcard to show what the Leaning Tower looked like. It was kind of a funny situation there too.
Well, he's going to be missed. I wish we had seen him more after he became an adult, but we did get a chance to touch base a few times over the years, and I actually got to go visit him in Daytona and meet the family for a few short moments before Paul and I went out for the night years ago when he was in Daytona. And I'm so sad for you all, but really loved our time with Paul. He was a great guy and great friend. Coaching our little league team, the picture you sent brings back so many memories. I could tell you so many stories because we were coaching little league when Paul, I think, was 15 or 16. I know I was 15 at the time. And so we're coaching kids who are just a couple of years younger than us, and all the other coaches were parents, and we went undefeated. I think we lost one game to the worst team in the league just because we had won so many games we didn't have anything to lose. But I remember the grief that Paul and I had to put up with the dads of the loser teams, as we used to like to call them. But we had some fun.
Yeah, that was kind of like the version of the Bad News Bears because they needed another team, and no one stepped forward, and you and Paul stepped forward to manage and coach the team, and like you said, I mean, you won the Little League.
And once we were winning, everybody wanted to replace us with parents, and the sponsor of the team stood up and said, "No, these guys were here." But it was funny because Paul and I would bring other friends of ours there, so the kids actually learned how to play baseball. I mean, it was a minor league team, so let's make no mistake, it wasn't. But yeah, our kids had a good time. The kids playing on our team, it was just a bunch of kids having fun, and that was yet another great experience with your dad.
I actually umpired during that time, and only once I accidentally get pushed into a umpiring situation where Tim and Paul were managing, and I was the umpire. I had to be very careful there because you never know. What's that?
Big mistake.
Yeah, I remember one time I made a call at home plate. I looked over, called the kid out, looked over, and both you and Paul were like shaking your heads, like, no, he's not out.
Done this to us.
You missed the call again. So anyway, well, look, Terry, we would love to thank you and everyone involved in this, that you gave us an opportunity to give some time and some insight to sharing with you truly fun memories of Paul. And again, we thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Thanks. And we're thinking of you all. Thanks so much. And we love Paul.
We do. And enjoy the memories. The memories are the most important thing. And we'll sign off with that.